Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia, and today it would normally be time for Friday reads, but I'm out of town, so I have pre-made this haul video to play on Friday instead. So I hope that you've been having an excellent week. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you had a fun holiday. That's where I went to visit family for Thanksgiving, but since this video is playing after Thanksgiving, it is officially open season for my parade of tacky and odd holiday apparel. So today I am wearing this t-shirt. I don't understand what's going on exactly. I think it's Christmas on the moon or on another planet. I'm not sure, but it's giving me $1 worth of joy because I found it at the thrift store. So I hope that you have patience for what's to come, because I have parlayed my little collection of tacky holiday wear that came in really handy when I worked at elementary school, but now I just wear it on my videos. So anyway, happy holidays, here it comes. So anyway, I have some books that I have accumulated over the past month or so, and this is almost entirely backlist titles. There is one new release. I think it's at the bottom of the pile, and I'm really excited about this book. It's a real buzzy one, but and I'm saving it for the end. But it's mostly books, and in fact, several of them are books I've read before, but I wanted my own copy. I'm planning to reread them, and so these are just an assortment of older titles that I am happy to add to my collection. So let me know in the comments which ones you have read, or which ones sound good to you that you think you might want to read sometime in the future. So let's go. The first one, I've talked about this a little bit. This is His Carcass by Dorothy Sayers, and I got this because I read Strong Poison, and then I have Gaudy Night, and this story comes in between, and it has to do with, well, there's going to be some kind of murder mystery, but it focuses on the relationship between the characters Harriet Vane and Lord Peter Wimsey. This is not what I ordered. I ordered a hardback, but they made a mistake in their listing description, and so they charged me, well, I've been refunded, but they charged me $8 for an old yellowy mass market paperback that smells like an old garage. So they did refund me, so actually it's free. Now I'm kind of stuck, like, should I order a nicer copy because this is not what I would have intended to have, or should I just, read the free book that is in hand and not worry about it? Haven't decided. I don't know. I might just, it's not a book. I'm reading it to get to the next one, so I might just read the free one and just let it go. So anyway, it's here, and now, this is the one where I had all the problems with the word carcass. So I can just look upon that all day now. The next one was a serious thrift store find. I found a copy in hardback of The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead for 50 cents at the Goodwill. And I have read this. I love this book. It's really a harsh book, heavy book, but I could imagine reading it again, which is why I went ahead and got a copy. And this is a story about the Nickel Academy, which is based on an actual incident in Florida where the grounds of an old school, they found sort of a mass grave, and kind of detected a pattern of black students dying under mysterious circumstances or brushed off circumstances and not even being buried properly, or their deaths being covered up. So it happened in real life, and Colson Whitehead sort of wrote a fictional story imagining the lives of a pair of friends who may have attended such a school, what the circumstances would have been like to actually live through this. So as you can tell from the description, it's not a happy story, but it is beautifully written, and there are surprises within the structure. If you've never read it, I do highly recommend it when you are in a pretty good headspace for some strong material. But I'm really happy to have this excellent, it's like perfect. It had a Barnes & Noble, like 20% off sticker, and a Barnes & Noble bookmark sticking out of it, like somebody got it to read and maybe they didn't want to keep it, or they never got to it, or whatever happened, but now it has found a happy forever home with me. I kind of grouped the ones together that I have read before. I don't know why, I just did. So the next one is also, and I've read it already. I read all of Elizabeth Strout's books, and I wanted to have my own copies of the Lucy books, and I have the 2 Olive books. So I'm working on the Lucy books, and now I have the first 2. I've read them all, but after reading them all as library books, I realized I wanted to go back through the quartet, and I don't know if she's going to write any more about Lucy, but this is the first one. My name is Lucy Barton, and when did this first one come out? Let's see. Well, okay, 2016. So, I mean, this whole span has been fairly close together, because I think an Olive book even came up somewhere in those years as well. And anyway, these are stories about a woman named Lucy and her, well, throughout most of the stories, her ex-husband, William. But this is the first one. She's a little bit younger. She's still married to William and raising her daughters, and she's going through a kind of a difficult to diagnose and treat illness where she's hospitalized for a period of time, and her mother comes to see her that she's pretty much estranged from. So there's a lot in here about this kind of fraught mother-daughter relationship. The mother spends a lot of time talking about news from the hometown where they grew up in, and kind of skirting around the major issues of the conflict between them. And it's a book where not a lot happens plot-wise, but there's just a lot of memories and dialogue, and it sets the stage for what's to come. It's actually not my favorite in the series, but it's good enough that I went on to continue reading the series, and I'm interested to see when I read back through them all, because I've read them all just once, will they reshuffle in my mind as far as which one do I feel is the strongest? And it's also very interesting because it's becoming a long-running series about a kind of a tricky character. Lucy's she's the main character, but she's not exactly what I'd call a heroine. She's kind of a difficult person. You know, I'm gonna wait until I actually start reading again, try to get my mental hands on what it is about Lucy I like and dislike, but I can't talk about it yet till I start rereading. But anyway, I'm intrigued. I want to read them again. Bless Elizabeth Strout for never writing a long book. So she doesn't, you never think, well, that should have been edited. It's like it's spare and deceptively simple, but then at the end you just leave thinking about it a lot. The next one I talked about in my Remember December video, and I think I held up this copy, but this I recently acquired, and I got it. It was kind of one of those serendipity things where I was thinking about this book and how I want to reread it and want my own copy, and I wanted a hardback. I've kind of been looking off and on for a hardback of this for about a year or so, and then right about the time I found one and ordered it, the Remember December reading event materialized, and so I realized it was the perfect time to read Never Let Me Go again by Kazuo Ishiguro. And this is a strange, lovely, unsettling, sad book, and it's a book that I can only tell you a little bit about without spoiling anything, but it's about a young woman who has a job as a kind of a caretaker in a hospital where she's partnered to take care of certain patients in this hospital. And as we hear her talk about her everyday life, she's also reflecting back on her childhood growing up in an unusual group home. And as she explains her life, we come to realize some very disturbing facts about who she and her friends are and what their purpose is. And that's all I'm going to tell you. It's really good. And I have it on word of people whose reading tastes I deeply trust that it gets better when you go back through it. So I'm really excited to reread this just moments from now in December. So Never Let Me Go. And I'm never letting that go now that I found my own copy of it. All right, so that's it with the ones that I have read before, but I'm so happy to have them here in my own collection. Now I have some other older titles that I wanted for different reasons that I have found copies of. And first up we have More Tales of the City by Armistead Maupin. Maupin? And I read Tales of the City last month, and you heard me talk about that. I just enjoyed all of the episodic adventures of the people who live in this house in San Francisco in the late 80s. And then I watched the show, and I just had a good time with it, even though some of it was dated, and some of it's kind of goofy. It's just, it sucks you in. It has a great soap opera type vibe, and some of the characters are just really, they kind of really appealed to me, so I want to go on. And it's like a 9-part series, so I don't know if I'll continue to be attracted to keep going through the series or if I'll fall off the bus at some point. But I did get the second book, More Tales of the City, and it does say the tenants of 28 Barbary Lane have fled their cozy nest for adventures far afield. I don't want them to leave. I like the house. Marianne Singleton finds love at sea with a forgetful stranger. Mona Ramsey discovers her doppelganger in a desert whorehouse, which would prove one of my theories. And Michael Tolliver bumped into his favorite gynecologist in a Mexican bar. Meanwhile, their venerable landlady takes the biggest journey of all without ever leaving home. So, the thing I will tell you is that there is a secret in the first book that is not revealed to the reader. The character with the secret tells it to another person, but we don't hear it. I had a theory about it, but in the show, it is revealed at the end of the show. And so if you watch the show without reading the books, you'll find something out that you're not supposed to know until, I guess, book 2. But the revelation of the secret led me to a new theory about somebody else. So if that's not cryptic enough, well, I don't have anything else to add, but I'm excited to read the next book. I don't know exactly when I'm going to get to it. I think it would be a great travel book, or just when I need something a little more lighthearted. It's good to have that on deck. All right, the next one is The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury, a lovely hardback copy. National Book Award. Did this oh, I did not know. All of his books say National Book Award on them. And so which one actually won the National Book Award? Okay, I'm gonna have to research that, because the little the other books, they all have that on them. They didn't all win it, so which one won it? But anyway, The Martian Chronicles I bought because I have found out that I am really into Ray Bradbury's short stories. A couple of them have crossed my path over the past year, and I really got into them. But I did recognize a couple of the short stories that I have read in this list. And so that kind of made me feel like this would be a great place for me to start in my, my further readings of Ray Bradbury. Then we have a book I picked up the other day. This is very random, but I was at the library book sale and I got this book, The Darkness by Ragnar Jonasson. I feel like I might have read Snowblind. If that's another detective series with a man, I might have read some of those some years ago. Because I know I read a detective series set in Iceland with some guy. And this is also, this is a new series. Well, I don't know how new it is. Let's see. The detective is a woman. It's set in Iceland, in Reykjavik. And this is 2015, which means I'm in danger of having read it. But I don't think I did, because the detective is a woman and not a man. It says she is Hulda Hermansdottir was forced into early retirement, but told she can investigate one last cold case of her choice, and she knows which one. There was a young Russian woman who washed up on a remote beach, and nobody knows like who she was or what happened to her. So that's the case that she wants to take on as her cold case. So I saw some good reviews, kind of skimmed that real quick, and it just sounded like a fun, fast thriller read. So if you are familiar with this author or you've read this book, let me know. But for a couple bucks, I went ahead and picked this up at that book sale. And then the last two books, one of them I just finished this morning. Oh my goodness. I am going to order the sequel really, really soon. Like, I'm only waiting, like, because it's actually not really Friday. It's like a few days before. Like, I'm going to wait till I'm back from my trip so it doesn't accidentally get here when I'm gone. Although I feel like I'm really not at risk of that based on my recent track record of packages. But anyway, I need the sequel. So I got Moon of the Crusted Snow by Waubgeshig Rice. This was another book I had picked to read for November, looking for some indigenous authors that, well, I read one that I already am familiar with, Louise Erdrich, and the other two were new to me. I wanted to try them out. And this was the last of the three. And man, this story was good. I will be talking about it on my next Friday reads, but this one was a little short, satisfying banger of a book. It was so tense and suspenseful. It is a kind of a post-apocalyptic tale, and it takes place in somewhere in Canada. I need to figure out on a map where this actually happened, but it is basically a remote reservation of Anishinaabe community, and they live pretty far away from the actual next city. They have their own little community, little bitty school, one store, pretty close-knit group. And something happens. They're used to tough winters, and they're used to occasionally like cell phone service going out or power going out. Over the course of one weekend, everything goes down. Landline, cell phone, electricity, everything. And it does not come back. And they soon figure out that this is a wider spread problem than just their area. And they're going to have to think about making plans to live through a long, tough winter. And there's a lot. Well, I'm going to wait till I do Friday reads, but that's the setup. Something's happened, everything's out, and we have this group of isolated people with a kind of a range of skills. Some people have pursued the traditional skills of hunting and fishing and laying in supplies for the winter, and they know how to trap and things like that. And other people have come to rely on modern conveniences in the grocery store, and they don't really know what they're going to do once, you know, the groceries run out. So that's the setup, and I'll talk more about it later, but it was really good. And then last but definitely not least is the one new release in this haul, and I'm so excited about this book, and I'm getting more and more excited because people have started reviewing it and everyone seems to really love this book, and it is Northwoods by Daniel Mason. This seems to be the book at the moment that everybody has either just bought or just read or they're about to read, and so I am jumping on board that train too because this sounds terrific. Let me just read what it says. When two young lovers abscond from a Puritan colony, little do they know that their humble cabin in the woods will become the home of an extraordinary succession of human and non-human characters alike. An English soldier destined for glory abandons the battlefields of the New World to devote himself to growing apples. A pair of spinster twins navigate war and famine, envy and desire. A crime reporter unearths an ancient mass grave, only to discover that the earth refuses to give up her secrets. A lovelorn painter, a sinister con man, a stalking panther, a lusty beetle. As the inhabitants confront the wonder and mystery around them, they begin to realize that the dark, raucous, beautiful past is very much alive. So it is about all of the different living creatures that at some time or another inhabit this cabin. And that just gives me, I don't know, that just sounds so good. As soon as I heard about this book, I thought, oh, yes. So it's here. I'm on the verge of finding a little space and time to read it. I want to read it before the end of the year. So all that Remember December, it's got to fit in, and this needs to fit in too. So that is the end. There's one more book that this happens to me every time. There's always like this one book that I wanted to put in the haul, but somehow it isn't here yet. There is a book lost in the mail again. It tootled along, and then it stayed in one spot for like 10 days. And then it started moving again. And it's actually, I mean, if tracking is correct, it is in my city, but it's also been sitting here for 3 or 4 days. So, will it make it to me? I hope so. And I will share it in my next haul. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You'll have to wait and see. But that's it for now. That is what I have recently purchased over the past month or so. So let me know your thoughts about anything in this haul. Have a great weekend, and I will be back on Tuesday with a tag that I'm excited to do about my nonfiction reading experiences. So stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Bye.